Chapter 1. The roots of discontent in the shadow of the Roman Empire. Illyricum, a region encompassing modern-day Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, and parts of Serbia, had long been a battleground of cultural clashes and power struggles. The Illyrian tribes, with their distinct identities, traditions, and societal structures, found themselves increasingly at odds with the expanding Roman authority. The roots of discontent run deep in Illyricum's history. After the Roman conquest, which began in the late 3rd century BCE, the region was slowly integrated into the empire. Initial military campaigns had subdued some tribes, but resistance remained a constant theme in the region. Despite Roman efforts to impose their governance, the Illyrians maintained their customs and way of life, often rebelling against the imposition of foreign rule. By 7 AD, the situation had reached a boiling point. Roman taxation policies, land appropriation for the benefit of Roman settlers, and the imposition of Roman laws stripped the Illyrians of their autonomy and traditional rights. The grievances were many, and the patience of the tribes wore thin as they faced the heavy hand of Roman administration. Chapter 2. The catalyst for rebellion. The immediate catalyst for the rebellion came in the form of a new Roman governor, who implemented a series of draconian measures intended to solidify Roman control over Illyricum. His policies included increased taxation, forced conscription into the Roman army, and restrictions on local trade and customs. The combination of these measures, seen as blatant violations of their rights, ignited the long-simmering anger among the Illyrian tribes. At the heart of the rebellion were several tribal leaders who emerged as symbols of resistance. Among them was a charismatic chieftain named Botto, known for his fierce pride and unwavering commitment to the Illyrian way of life. Botto's leadership would rally the tribes around a common cause, fostering unity in the face of adversity. The spark ignited when Botto and his fellow chieftains convened a clandestine council in a sacred grove, where they discussed their grievances against Roman rule. The gathering served as a unifying moment, where various tribes, previously divided by rivalries, recognized the need for collective action to protect their lands and heritage. Chapter 3. The formation of a coalition. Realizing that fragmented efforts would lead to failure, Botto proposed a coalition among the Illyrian tribes. He called for an alliance that transcended traditional rivalries, urging the tribes to unite against their common oppressor. The tribes of the Delmatae, Masaps, and others answered his call, understanding that their survival depended on solidarity. The coalition's formation marked a significant turning point in the region. Botto and other leaders worked tirelessly to negotiate agreements and rally support among the tribes. They organized secret meetings, establishing lines of communication and coordination to strategize their resistance. As word spread of the coalition's formation, enthusiasm surged among the tribes. Young warriors were eager to join the cause, ready to defend their homeland and challenge the might of the Roman legions. The promise of freedom from Roman oppression united the Illyrians in a way that had never been seen before. Chapter 4. The initial skirmishes. By the spring of 7 AD, the Illyrian coalition was ready to take action. Their first move was a series of coordinated attacks against Roman outposts, aiming to disrupt supply lines and weaken the Roman military presence in the region. The initial skirmishes were met with fierce resistance, as Roman soldiers, trained and equipped with superior weaponry, fought to maintain control. However, the element of surprise favored the Illyrians, allowing them to score early victories. The skirmishes galvanized the Illyrians, fueling their determination to continue the fight against their oppressors. As news of these skirmishes reached the Roman authorities, panic ensued. The governor of Illyricum, recognizing the seriousness of the situation, dispatched reinforcements to quell the uprising. Roman legions, accustomed to conquering lands, now found themselves facing a determined and united Illyrian front. Chapter 5. Botto's leadership and strategy. Under Botto's leadership, the Illyrian coalition developed a strategic plan to confront the Roman forces. They relied on guerrilla tactics, utilizing their knowledge of the rugged terrain to launch surprise attacks and then retreat into the mountains before Roman forces could respond. Botto's ability to inspire his fellow warriors played a crucial role in maintaining morale. He reminded them of their rich heritage and the importance of their fight for freedom. His speeches echoed with the stories of their ancestors, who had once resisted foreign domination and preserved their way of life. As the rebellion continued to escalate, Botto's leadership became increasingly vital. He sought to maintain unity among the tribes, emphasizing that their strength lay in their diversity. Through strategic alliances and shared resources, the coalition became a formidable force that the Romans could no longer underestimate. Chapter 6. Roman response and reinforcements. As the rebellion gained momentum, the Roman authorities reacted swiftly. The governor summoned troops from neighboring provinces, bolstering the Roman presence in Illyricum. The legions, trained for battle and equipped with superior technology, aimed to crush the rebellion swiftly. Roman commanders employed their classic military strategies, seeking to leverage discipline and organization to their advantage. However, they underestimated the tenacity and resolve of the Illyrian fighters. The Roman forces advanced through the region, attempting to reclaim lost territories while confronting an enemy that was fiercely motivated by a desire for freedom. As the Roman legions marched into Illyricum, they encountered well-coordinated ambushes and guerrilla warfare tactics employed by the Illyrians. The Roman military, while formidable, found themselves challenged in unfamiliar terrain, facing a determined adversary that had nothing to lose. Chapter 7. The Battle of the River. The turning point of the rebellion came during the Battle of the River, where the Illyrian coalition faced a large Roman contingent. The river served as both a strategic location and a symbol of their homeland, and the Illyrians understood that victory here would send a powerful message. Botto meticulously planned the ambush, leveraging the natural geography to his advantage. His forces concealed themselves among the dense foliage along the riverbanks, waiting for the Roman troops to draw near. As the Romans crossed the river, the Illyrians unleashed a coordinated assault. The battle erupted into chaos as the two sides clashed. The Illyrians, fueled by their desire for freedom, fought with fierce determination. The sound of clashing weapons echoed through the valley, mingling with the shouts of warriors and the cries of the fallen. Despite the Romans' superior training and equipment, the Illyrians' knowledge of the terrain and their passionate resolve proved to be a formidable combination. The Romans suffered significant casualties, and for the first time, the mighty empire faced a substantial defeat in Illyricum. Chapter 8. Consequences of victory. The victory at the Battle of the River invigorated the Illyrian coalition. News of their triumph spread like wildfire, inspiring more tribes to join the rebellion. Communities that had previously remained neutral began to align themselves with Botto and the Illyrians, recognizing the potential for liberation from Roman oppression. However, the victory also drew the ire of the Roman authorities, who now understood the gravity of the situation. The governor, humiliated by the defeat, vowed to take decisive action to quell the rebellion once and for all. He devised a new military strategy that involved consolidating forces and employing a scorched earth policy against the Illyrian villages suspected of harboring rebels. As Roman forces regrouped, the Illyrians faced the dual challenges of maintaining their momentum while preparing for the inevitable retaliation. Chapter 9. The scorched earth tactics. The Roman response to the Illyrian rebellion took a brutal turn as they implemented scorched earth tactics. Entire villages were razed, crops destroyed, and livestock slaughtered to deprive the Illyrians of resources and support. The governor's strategy aimed to instill fear and discourage rebellion by demonstrating the consequences of defiance. The destruction of villages had a devastating impact on the Illyrian population. Families were displaced, and communities were shattered. While this tactic succeeded in instilling fear, it also fueled the flames of resistance. The loss of homes and loved ones galvanized the Illyrians, further solidifying their resolve to fight against their oppressors. Botto, witnessing the suffering of his people, rallied the coalition to continue their struggle. He emphasized that their fight was not just for their freedom but also for the preservation of their culture and way of life. The Illyrians refused to succumb to despair. Instead, they found strength in their shared hardships. Chapter 10. The final confrontation. As the situation escalated, both sides prepared for a final confrontation. The Illyrians, fueled by a desire for vengeance and justice, began to gather their forces for what they anticipated would be a decisive battle against the Roman legions. The Romans, reinforced and determined to crush the rebellion, advanced with renewed vigor. The stage was set for a climactic showdown that would determine the fate of Illyricum. The two sides clashed in a valley surrounded by mountains, a fitting backdrop for the battle that would resonate through history. Botto's leadership and the strategic unity of the coalition faced off against the disciplined ranks of the Roman legions, representing the might of an empire.